tracks about the teenagers, right?
Well, I think there is a solution, but it wouldn't work in a free country. Like, I'm pretty sure if you go to Cuba, you don't see black gang members anywhere. You don't see them selling drugs. They're not unemployed. They're not doing any of that shit because they would be putting... No, my friends
Got it.
but they would be putting, they actually are pretty strict. They do not gonna allow gangs and that kind of shit, especially out in the open. But they will put you, they will lock you up, period. I mean, that was kind of the case in a lot of the communist countries.
Yeah. Well, you see that, for instance.
Well, and we used to be, punishments used to be more harsh here. But every 20, 30 years or so, we get this push from the left, how we have to be compassionate and understanding of the circumstances of why a perpetrator might be driven to, I don't know, beat his girlfriend with a baseball bat in the face. Oh, he was brought up in a single parent home with his mother, and he was oppressed by his teachers who taught him white math instead of more diverse and inclusive teaching method for math. And that's why he beat his girlfriend. So no, don't put him in jail. Just let him let him out and be on probation, because that'll help reform him instead. We go through those cycles, and then what it teaches people is that, I can get away with crime and I can do it again. That's why and I was trying to get from Danville how old that blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid that the judge wanted to take away his license was. What the judge was doing was correct. Yeah, scare the shit out of him on his first offense, and then he'll learn, don't do that shit. None of this, oh, well, it's his first offense. I think that's backward. First offense, don't throw him in jail with hardened criminals, but make sure he knows he fucked up and he's going to pay a price.
Well, I'll say this, like, in defense of people, if I had to grow up around a bunch of violent black people that I have to worry about, like, trying to fuck with me, rob me, whatever, I mean, I don't know that I would, I don't know that I would be I think I could see how I would be violent too. I mean,
yeah, but it didn't used to be that way. Even during Jim Crow, okay, there wasn't this, in what was more harsh conditions, there wasn't this same level of violence. That's the problem.
That is true.
You can't blame it. You can't blame it on poverty. Remember,
no, I didn't blame it on poverty. I said if I was living in proximity, the people that were constantly fucking with me, trying to rob me, if I was getting jumped, if I was doing any of that, I'm not gonna say it would be above me not to end up just popping one of them literally shooting one of them afterwards, or getting payback. Like I'm not, I mean, you know, so.
Yeah, that's the shit I'm talking about. Yeah, but Pepe, and I don't want to discuss it with you personally because you've told us your story, but that's what fathers are there for. I mean, if, I'll try not to make this, but when the first time my kid got in trouble in school, he knew he fucked up, and I let him know he fucked up in front of the other teachers. So they knew that I took it seriously. And then we got home and he heard more how he fucked up. And when he fucks up, he knows it. that's what parents are for. Not understand. Say that again, mister?
Accountability. That's what you
Yes, thank you, right, and yes, exactly. Thank you very much.
That's the difference between you and I worked the first 11, 12 years of my life in a very impoverished neighborhood because my mom came as an immigrant and then finally worked her way up and got out of there. But I was bullied. I saw all the violence. But there's a difference between people who decide I'm not going to be a violent person or I will be a violent person. Myself and my family chose to be non-violent people, and we turned out okay. We didn't go your route of going, I will fight the violence with violence, because that would put you in the same circle with those same violent people.
Let me ask you a question. If somebody jumps me, steals my shit, they've done it more than once, maybe this time, I had to go and stay in the hospital for a little bit, and I know they're still fucking with me, should I morally feel bad if I thought I could get away with it, which I probably would, and just put a bullet in the back of his head, should I have any moral qualms in doing that? Just to protect myself from his predation.
Well, I got jumped. I had a lot of those things happen to me, and guess what? I turned out okay, and I don't think about those things. The people who did those things are bums somewhere, still doing those things, or dead or in jail, and I moved on with my life. So if you want to put a bullet in the back of your head and be a criminal and get away with things, that's the type of things that land you in jail.
Well, if we're going to be completely fair about this, everybody has their own journey that they must lead. Yeah, I mean, Tian, on one hand, I know you're saying the things to give heed to Pepe, and I get that. And I also agree with you, and we should applaud people like you who, in spite of their difficult circumstances, nonetheless still manage to not fall into crime. Good for you, and kudos to you. However, and there is a wide range of human experience, but when we speak in generalities, and I'm using Pepe as perhaps the example, we do know that statistically, having the fathers in the home statistically improves the outcomes of both girls and boys developmentally and in terms of their adult life, not getting into crime, not getting into drugs, not becoming strippers, etc., etc., etc. So I think we can discuss both of those things and not necessarily have to use them as throwing shade at Pepe. Though if I'm not here to police you either, if you want to do that, that's your business. But I'm trying to remember the Chris Rock joke. If it's something like, if the lights aren't on, that's Daddy's fault. And if your kid becomes a stripper, well, that's Mommy's fault. Something like that.
Well, I'm just curious though, Tian. You said that violence isn't an answer. I don't know. If somebody kills a loved one and you can, let's just say you'll get away with it. I mean, are you telling me that you don't know that you could do it? Yeah. Well, here's an example. Do you know that because it was on video? There were these Cajuns that lived in Louisiana, and the karate instructor ended up kidnapping this boy out of state and sodomizing him. And they both walked off the airplane, and the father was, had a hat on and acted like he was on the phone. And then when the suspect, the karate teacher, was being escorted off the plane, he turned around from the pay booth holding a revolver and shot him in the head and killed him. I mean, I think he didn't get convicted of Louisiana jury wasn't going to convict him, but I think he got some kind of civil rights charge or some shit, but he still didn't really do any time. But I mean, Tia, do you think like that man, for example, is a violent criminal? He's somebody that you, because he resorted to using violence, he's somehow bad?
No, Doug. No, Doug. Yeah, Brandon Herrera did a video about recreating that, and every time one of them tries to take the same shot, they all go, "No, Doug, no," because the cops knew the guy.
Oh, I think wasn't his name Larry?
Oh, but then Larry, whatever. But yeah.
So, no, Larry, why, Larry?
Yeah.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I operate, for me personally, I try to operate under the laws of whatever country I'm in. I've been to several countries, 38 to be exact. And I'll tell you this, I hate what's going on I hate the cities in Europe and the pickpocketing and the scamming, and I hate the fact that criminals are being protected all across the world, right? But we have laws in countries that have to be respected, unfortunately. But I'll tell you this, because I'm not a saint, right? I'm not here to say I'm going to forgive whoever hurts my family or hurts me. When I was in South Africa in December, a guy snatched my phone, right? And I never thought this would happen to me, but it did. He snatched my phone. But the good thing is that there's a wiggle room in the justice system where jungle justice can almost be had without any consequence. So when people in the neighborhood came to me and said, "We can catch this guy," they said, "What do you want us to do with him? You want us to kill him? You want us to beat his ass?" Now I'm operating under the guise of that flawed system, that loophole that gives me power to have that type of revenge I can't have in the United States of America. So I operate under that guise. That's just how I move. I follow the law, bro. I'm a law-abiding citizen wherever I go.
Well, let me ask you a question. If you live in a country, let's say you live in a country where nobody follows the law, everybody skims from the top. It's just kind of a corrupt country. Would you obey the law then?
That's my point. That's the point I'm making. Is that because I'm currently in a lawless nation, I have that type of wiggle room. I don't have that in America, so I can't try to get away with things. I can't try to exact my own form of revenge, because America's not going to protect me. They're going to protect the criminal. I'm going to be the one in jail with the criminal. He might even walk.
I mean, I would think there's some countries like Mexico and but there's a lot of laws where it's either at best suggestions. They're not.
Well, while you're in America, you can't just do what you want. And you and I know that. You can come to South Africa and we can go beat and kill everybody who's ever done something to anybody and get away with it. You can't get away with it in America. And you just have to respect it. Yeah, Elizabeth, it's an immigration crisis that allows for any and everybody undocumented to populate cities, scam, steal, pickpocket from everybody, and with no consequences. It was a shame when I was in Madrid and Paris. They're arresting people left and right and then letting them go, and then they're warning people, warning tourists. If something ever happens to you, don't do anything about it, or you're the one who goes to jail. And that's the world we live in today. Our lawmakers are scumbags who protect criminals because they were probably elected by criminals, so they have to maintain that status quo. But I think it's a revolution coming. There'll be more and more conservative leaders that will say we want isolationism and we want to kick undocumented people out, and we want people who actually can respect the laws and of the land. Until then, you're not safe as an innocent, as a civilian. The criminals are the safest people on earth.
Yeah, going to Paris, going to Madrid, you might as well just be going to Africa, honestly. And that's how bad the immigration issue has become, And Europe, especially western part of Europe, these places are unrecognizable at this point. It is quite sad, but it's people like, I'm not saying like you, but people that look like you, they cried racism in 2020 during COVID, BLM, all that stuff. They defunded the police, and this is the result we have, right? You're getting knife attacks in London, you're getting pickpocketed in Paris. And this was all designed by the same people that said Black Lives Matter. Again, and these people don't live in the same communities, they don't have to walk across the same streets that the people that are actually affected by it. Like the lady, the Georgia University student that was raped by a bunch of migrants. It's just sad. It is absolutely disgusting. And I agree with you, man. We need more conservative leaders. We need people held accountable for what I believe is like a national identity crisis, identity genocide. Like, we need to be doing better. But that's racist, you know. You get called racist if you actually stand for principles.
You get called.
Yeah, you look cool and young all the time. You with that tomfoolery. You know, it's just the same shit, bro. It's so tired.
West is committing suicide. Europe, I think, is they're in. I think they'll actually have, even though demographically, like their native population's higher percentage in comparison to foreigners, it's the types of immigrants they're getting. You know, their religion. It's really going to be like a huge problem for them.
Well, the thing is, okay, why are they bringing in the immigrants? Because they bring them in to do the jobs that the folks didn't want to. So you're not exactly getting, you know, top shelf. You know what I mean? Because that's not what's.
It's
That's
only,
not
I think
what's.
it's only partially true. Like, the mass immigration started, like, if you look at the first waves of mass immigration to the U.S. in the 1800s in particular, there was northern industrialists that ended up basically they had campaigns in southern and eastern Europe, advertising campaigns that they wanted a huge influx of people to come in, and it was just, you know, basically they have a more cheap
Yeah, I'm
labor
doing fine.
and
I'm
and
about
shit.
to stop doing what
These
I'm
were
doing
all,
and
you know, us that were
start
doing
reading
it.
books again.
And, you know, at
But
the
this is
time,
all
when they were
Clubhouse
immigrating here,
recordings,
people did
and
not care for the Eastern
I'm kind
or
of just
European
relaxing
Italians. They
before
thought
I
they
head
were,
out
you know,
for the
much
day.
too different for them. You kind of, like, I don't know, and it seems kind of similar
This
now
may
to
not seem like relaxing,
why
and I
all
agree
of
it's not
these,
really
why
good
do you get all
relaxing,
these
but
large donors?
it's fully automated. I don't have to do any of the thinking or speaking. I'm just wasting my time listening to low IQ dumb people talk about nothing.
I don't think it was because they had some grand idea of like, oh, like one world, we're all the same, you know, prosperity for everybody. Like, no, I think they're just they only care about themselves and being able to access more money.
That and votes. That's why they're pushing from the floor.
Oh yeah, of course.
And changing up voter ID laws where you don't need an ID to vote. Yeah, I think all these people are gonna vote Democrat. Oh yeah, I worked at a voter registration place on voting day, and they would just come in and just show their name, their driver's license, and they'd just go vote. And I turn around to the guy, I look, dude, that guy, I don't think that guy's, you know, citizen. He goes, yeah, we're not allowed to ask.
I mean, I don't know, like how. It's kind of mind-boggling. How did it become the status quo? It's been like this for decades, if you think about it. So I remember even George W. Bush would say, like, diversity is our greatest strength. You know, he'd say stupid shit like that. Anybody can be an American. You know, all of this colorblind bullshit. And it was almost like it was almost like a religion that like for example, even in England, anybody can be English. What is it to be English? It's just you adopt the culture. It's like, no, that's not the fucking case. Like the people are definitely a part of what it means to be fucking English. And it's the whole push for the like religious fervor that they have for diversity, multiculturalism. To me, it just there's literally zero. Maybe there's a couple little small things, but it's not an actual strength. There's no real fucking benefit from it. Why is this being pushed so hard? It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
So I do think that, I mean, this is white America, right? But like this also does not necessarily reflect the norm in the country. Because most people don't really have an issue with immigration, right? Overall, they don't have, there's not as much vitriol as even the common person that you talk to. I mean, this is an outlier, right? The issue that people have, yeah, the reason why it's not become a bigger problem is like, so we all kind of acknowledge that these people are needed for economic growth, right? America is a country that is below replacement rates, which white alones, our economy would start to shrink if you don't have a source of immigration or additional population growth. In a generally growing economy, and is beneficial for all of us, right?
Is it beneficial for all of us?
I don't think anyone is dumb enough to just say like we should 100% close immigration, right? I think that's a silly point because it would be detrimental.
I never said 100%.
It would be detrimental to our economic success, and yeah.
We are a nation. That's right, Brian said. That's a good point.
I would say it's a beautiful day. I'm not gonna take one out of the river full.
Shut up, man.
Get your ass out there and start enjoying the grass for the day, okay?
No, sorry.
I wanna add something to
Hold on. I was gonna ask him something.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I thought you were in trouble. I apologize.
When it comes to first of all, people, when it comes to like the GDP or quote unquote growing the economy, I don't care about making corporations or the wealthy wealthier. I don't really care about that. Now, what I don't see is immigrants, the standard living in terms of I don't know, being able to buy a fucking house. Any of this shit has gotten better for the everyday American. So I do not care about growing the fucking economy if that's not going to be felt by the middle class. Like that's bullshit.
Well, actually, immigrants will increase cost of food production and housing for the middle class. So it would actually make inflation worse. I think the quality of life is going to get rid of all these laws and increase from decrease.
decrease because labor costs would come down and the labor costs would be passed on to a decrease in the food prices.
You think that Americans are going to accept the same wages as these migrants?
Oh, are you talking about, no, you reversed it. Okay, see, you made it, we were thought you were talking about immigrants as the workers. Okay, got it. Now I'd like to ask this question. I got beer, my mother. Now the thing about immigration, what I'm concerned about is how the United States has certain numbers that allow for this country or for that country, how they select the country that they want or the numbers from each country. I don't get it.
It's a
Like how do they
50-year-old
make
boat.
that checklist or that criteria to yeah, oh yeah. It's not an open application as you think.
No, becoming a legal citizen is actually pretty hard.
Right. Like they'll accept they have certain numbers they'll accept.
I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that.
Wasn't it like 1900 something that there was a quota system, a law, and then they tried to reform it? I can't think of the fucking president at this point, but it was like, I think it was Johnson. I don't know.
Yeah, like Ricky Johnson changed it.
Essentially, how it works is that it prioritizes rent and family reunifications, right? I think that's the first one that is most likely to get you a legal path to citizenship. Then it has something to do with, I think, your employment. Those are the other options. And then the last one, I think that's it. Wait, refugees, but I don't know if that is included in that law or not. I have no idea. I have to.
Well, the 1965 Immigration Act got rid of the nation of origin quota, which remember how I was saying how a bunch of Eastern Europeans came here, did a bunch of as well as Southern Europeans, and they weren't like people didn't really care for them as much as they cared. In other words, they were kind of discriminatory against them. release the population. So in 1924, that's when they instituted the Nations of Origins quota, where it prioritized Northwestern Europeans and allowed some Southern and Eastern Europeans to come here. And also that, like, with the communism and all of that shit, like, the United States was very wary of letting in people from Eastern Europe. But they ended in 1965, they took that away, so now people can come here from all over the world. That's why we were like 90% white then. And we used to have the Bracero programs, for example, where Mexicans could be guest workers and they'd have to have a savings account set up where they'd have to have a certain percentage of their money in that account, and it could only be accessed in Mexico.
Because, well, honestly, like, I think that's especially is most the whole Mexico border situation with crossing back and forth to live in Mexico, and if it's a special situation that doesn't really apply to most people, right? Most Mexicans, if they had a choice, would prefer to stay in their own country than to.
The 1965 Immigration Act, that's when we started getting Mexicans staying here, like, permanently, and having kids here.
Because they couldn't go home, right? Isn't that what that law did? Is it basically you can't do that anymore?
The Bracero program made it so you pretty much.
OJ is innocent.
I remember my.
What are you talking?
I remember like my family.
The jurisprudence said he was innocent.
Exactly.
No. They said not guilty. In America, in a courtroom, you're never guilty or innocent. It's guilty or not guilty.
He's innocent.
They don't say innocent.
He's innocent. There was a white construction worker that was working on a project, okay, in Northridge that consulted with the Simpsons in remodeling the Brenda Green house shortly before Nicole died. And he actually confessed to the murder years later when he was locked up in Florida. So again, at the end of the day, if you want to say it was a son, I'll give you that. Okay? He was a little bit confused. The son. The son. I want to say if it was a son. The multiple sons. He was smoking crack.
Even like MLK's alive, all of this weird shit.
What do you mean MLK is alive? The fuck are you talking about? Listen, if y'all want to go on this conspiracy on this app and blame Jews for everything, MLK is alive and O.J. Simpson is innocent. Okay?
And did they convert to Judaism?
OJ did, right?
I was joking.
There's a secret refrigerator they're holding the children.
Excuse me, Nicole Brown Simpson was Catholic. Nicole Brown Simpson was Catholic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, she was very Catholic.
She's buried in a Catholic cemetery. What are you talking about? That guy was, but I think the guy lives here in Scottsdale, whose son they killed. Fuck, I forget.
Are you talking about Ron Goldman?
Yeah, I think he was Jewish, wasn't he?
Listen, we're not doing this. Okay,
Yes,
we're not doing this. We're not doing this. You're not going to blame the Jews, okay, for the O.J. Simpson this
I'm
situation.
blame them.
You're not going to blame the Jews.
What did St. Peter say?
And let me just tell you something. Hold on. Let me just tell you something. No. If there's anybody in the victimhood camp that has a heavier weight as far as finances, it's the Browns. Okay? Shout out to Casey Brown, that's married to Nicole Brown Simpson's nephew.
Amazing.
Right? They own the Mission Inn Hotel. They're worth $500 million.
But I'm pretty sure Goldman, he works at Nordstrom's. He was the CEO.
Okay, that has.
Like, no, I don't think. I'm just saying. I don't think they like. I don't know if they have.
He worked at
God damn! Shut the fuck up! Jesus Christ!
No, the father used to work at Goldman and Sons.
The father worked in Nordstrom's for I don't know, like at least 20 some fucking years. Maybe he's old.
My nephew worked.
Oh my God! Shut the fuck up while I'm talking! God damn it! You drunk fucking spick! Jesus Christ! Holy shit!
David is Armenian, for the record.
Wow! That was I call him a beaner all the time. He was. Yeah. Yeah.
What did St. Peter say to Nicole Simpson when she arrived at the pearly gates? Nobody. Your waiter will be with you in a moment.
I thought you would have said it was good to chop it up with you.
See, Abby said she knows. See, Abby said he works at the men's department in Nordstrom and Scottsdale. Yeah, like he's been working there for a long time.
Wow, they got a Nordstrom. They were Scottsdale. Alright.
Do you know Scottsdale's kind of like
Yeah, I know.
wealthy people here?
Yeah, I know. But,
It's not even they had a fucking Nordstrom when I was living in Anchorage, Alaska. They had one downtown.
Yeah, to be fair, Nordstrom is not the
How far are you from Paradise Valley?
Like 10, 15 minutes.
Got it.
That's a wealthier.
Right. That's
What does that
really
mean?
where the heavy lifting folks are.
Scottsdale, no, yes. It's you don't have any cheap homes. It's obviously like the average price of a home is
Wait, do you have
there, but you have parts of Scottsdale where you have homes that are almost as if not as expensive as some of the ones in Paradise Valley. In like very exclusive places though.
yeah, Scottsdale's a high-end for Arizona.
I always preferred Sedona.
Yes, and I was just about to tell you something.
Exactly. I actually still have a timeshare there.
We're all gonna hear you.
I met Frank a lot. He's the men's department at the fashion. What's the name of that mall? Yeah, he's been there for years, and he's a big mustache. I don't know if he's still working there, but they've been there. And I don't know if they've ever collected out of the OJ estate because some of that money, he was.
They collected about $500,000.
That's it. And what happened was when OJ was alive, which by the way, he was my neighbor here in Vegas for a long time, after he was doing some government service in Nevada, the money, the NFL money, they weren't able to touch. Like he was getting some kind of
Retirement pension. Right. So in NFL, right, I think he gets like $250,000 a year in retirement
He
pension.
did. So now I don't know what the estate, if they have a judgment against him, whether they were able to execute on the judgment on what he owned. But he was here, after he went to jail here for stealing his own memorabilia, he ended up moving to Vegas, and like a whole bunch of restaurants didn't want him in there, but like here, a couple of the casinos he had some lawsuits with because they kicked him out.
His older daughter, when he was married to Marguerite, like we're talking about before Nicole, like his older set of kids, he had 3 kids with his former wife, and then he had 2 kids with Nicole. So, from what I understand, a lot of his assets are in the name of his oldest child, you know what I mean, from his previous marriage, and that's why they were able to kind of subvert a lot of the collection on that said lawsuit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they could do that. And there's a state exclusion a state exclusion of 30 million up to 30 million. I knew that number, 20 to 30 million, 20 million.
Well, and the other thing too is his kids have their own money. Like 2 of his kids live in Tampa, and they're very successful real estate agents, and they do very well for themselves.
They think I'm
Yeah, but they don't have OJ money. They don't have OJ.
I'm not going to say anything about. I mean, I've definitely met him several times because he went out when we all went out. He stayed very handsome. Like, I'm not going to say a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just going to give an observation. Like, he kept his looks.
Well, the other thing too that you have to consider is that the kids are going to inherit from his kids with Nicole and the kids with Nicole and OJ. They're going to inherit part of the Brown estate. So I go back to the whole point that the Browns have embedded themselves into a lot of Southern California society through marriage and through business partnerships. Like, do you understand that like the grandfather used to own a Hertz franchise that used to compete with Rick Caruso? Like, I mean, people don't understand like the greater context.
I really don't care about how much money.
Well, if they don't have
The children of celebrities like that should care about them.
They lost their daughter. There is that.
Nicole, I'm like, was she a waitress?
It was a very polarized polarizing case that she was a waitress coming out of, you know, being in her youth. She also modeled.
She's also she also kind of strikes me as a golden whore that cheated on her husband with a handsome young man, and you know, O.J. Simpson being O.J. Simpson.
They were divorced.
And well,
They were divorced,
They were divorced, but
all right, well, still he got, you know,
Yeah, how long had they been divorced?
And there's no evidence that she was cheating on him with that man. There's actually a lot of supporting evidence that, you know, he essentially had been gay.
Why is she getting
She left. Okay, so they went to Mezzaluna, which was a restaurant in Southern California. They had a restaurant in Monarch Beach next to where her parents lived, and they also had one in Brentwood. She went to the restaurant. She forgot her glasses. The young man, as you know, a person working at the restaurant, returned her glasses right up the street. It's walking distance. Very simple. Very, very, very innocent. There's nothing to say that they ever had an
We're
affair.
talking about the, well, alright, I could be wrong.
How long had they been divorced?
I think like well over a year. Like, that was,
Wasn't over her. Still wasn't over her.
they were still fucking.
How do you go into a fit of rage where you'll kill somebody with a fucking sword? I mean, that is like something snapped. I mean,
Oh, dude, you didn't hear about the possibility of cocaine use? Hello.
can you go back with that?
So
Yeah.
let's talk about that for a second. Shout out to Faye Resnick, right? So I actually ran into her a couple of weeks ago at a gas station down the hill from my house. And Faye Resnick, do you guys remember that angle?
yes.
As far as, right. So what's really crazy, and you also remember the theory as far as the Mezzaluna restaurant and the killings, the Colombian neckties, right? Do you remember that, Abby? So
No,
Faye
no,
Resnick,
no.
right. So if you read, I read a book. It's called Murder in Brentwood. It was written by actually Mark Furman. He wrote Murder in Greenwich, and he actually did an expose on the Mark Skakel murders in Greenwich. But nonetheless, he was one of the lead detectives on that case.
Right, he was
And
the one, but he also had prejudice, and so it's an issue.
Right. Right, because they, you know, he did an interview and, you know, he was talking about Nazi salutes and like all of this. So they basically threw out a lot of the evidence that Mark Furman had to bring to the court. Now, under the theory that was exposed in the book, there was a drug trafficking ring that was occurring in the Mezzaluna restaurants that occurred from Colorado down to Monarch Beach into Brentwood. And there was actually a waiter in the Monarch Beach location and a waiter in the Colorado location that were found dead, and it was investigated by the DEI due to, you know, suspicious circumstances that may have been related to drug trafficking.
I think you wanted to say investigated by the DA, not the DEI.
DEA.
Oh,
DEA. Drug enforcement.
DEI.
That's a copy, it's really crazy, man. What the hell would the drug cartel want to do with those two, killing those two?
And why would a drug cartel want to that kind of publicity?
Because the restaurant was a front, and a lot of people were buying cocaine, a lot of people were not paying their debts. Again, if you look at the theory, Faye Resnick was in substance abuse treatment in Marina Del Rey when the murder happened. And mind you, she was just as much the polite house guest as Kato Kalin was living in the Rockingham property. Faye Resnick lived with them. So again, a drug dealer could have been coming to look for Faye.
But at the same time, though, like it's so a murder that ends up like the whole nation knew about it. It was constantly in the news. Like, who? To me, that
I don't know, just look at the scene when he tries the gloves on, and he makes it really hard to put the gloves on.
Do you see what I'm saying, Abby?
No, I'm saying that was really orchestrated.
Abby, did you read the Bill Casey book?
Wait. Because that's what happened was that OJ has rheumatoid arthritis. So Johnny Carver told him, hey, listen, don't take your rheumatoid arthritis medication. That way your fingers get inflamed, they're swollen.
We don't know that. That's a conspiracy theory. So what is a plausible theory? What is a plausible theory is when gloves, especially leather gloves, are saturated by liquid material. And the expansion rate for which occurs, that was different from when he last supposedly wore the gloves for which he actually tried them on in court. The other thing that people have to understand, he was found not guilty, right? Not guilty means that they had a reasonable doubt. And a lot of the things that I'm explaining to you, that gives the average person, a reasonable doubt. There could be many different theories as to how that woman died.
Well, it just means that the prosecutor did.
That just means that Johnny Cochran did his job, right?
What's her face didn't do her job.
Marsha Clark.
If you read the Casey book or whatever is Bogosi, whatever it is, one of the things that they royally screwed up on in the prosecution is the defense made a big deal about how the blood samples were contaminated. The problem is that's not the way DNA works. O.J. Simpson's blood was at the crime scene. I forget exactly. It was at the crime scene. It was on the bloods. He got it. Whatever.
It was Barry Shuck's testimony you're talking about.
Very shocked.
The DNA expert that testified.
Yeah, well, then, in any event, the point is that just because the claim that the contamination changed the DNA or somehow made it false was incorrect.
Well, yeah, that's.
And Alan, let me just respond to Alan, agreeing with Alan.
I know you are.
Yeah, it's really created the doubt, but
Yeah.
I want to share something with
Created what doubt?
It created the doubt with the jury with respect to.
No.
Hold on, let's look at the third requirement.
Why is everybody fucking talking over each other?
The fact that the prosecution didn't clarify that for the jury.
Exactly.
Yes, what created the doubt.
Yeah, but also the technology that DNA.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that my girlfriend here in Vegas, her name's Jackie Glass, was a judge. She's retired now. She does arbitrations. She was the sitting judge when he was tried on the theft crime here. And if you look at the sentence that he got like a very extreme sentence for the crime that he was convicted of in Nevada. And it was almost like a compensation for him to do some time. But
Who was the presiding judge on that case? It was Alito? Yeah. I would love to have him do a sit-down interview. Like, I would love to have him do a sit-down interview and actually discuss what his thought process was in allowing certain evidence into submission and opinions on whether that said evidence contributed to the overall outcome of the case.
Adam, see, they've done like a 60 Minutes one. Like, you might look.
Judge Ito.
Sorry.
Yeah, not Alito. Let's.
Yes.
You're
Both Asian. No, I'm just kidding.
No, they're not.
I'm kidding.
You might take a look and see. There probably was some kind of interview with him afterwards. You know what's funny? I just want to say one other thing. It's so much, probably a lot of the people on Clubhouse only know this story from watching the People versus OJ, the TV series that was with Cuba Gooding. And probably, like, that's their perspective on it as opposed to that case itself.
No, my perspective, again, it was watching the trial and then reading the books. You see what I'm saying? Like Murder in Murder in Brentwood. You definitely need to read that book, Abby. It's a very, very, very interesting take on this case.
I want to ask another question, Abby. Do murder trials usually take 1 year?
No.
This thing went on. Okay. So they dragged it on for media and money.
Well, no, there were a lot of motions. There was, you can have actually, I take that back, because you can have a ton of pretrial motions. The motions can hold you up for a long time. I mean, the defendant obviously has the right to a speedy trial, but if the defense chooses to delay it, with respect to the different motions to to suppress evidence and suppress testimony.
Right. If the defense is asking for continuances to be able to, to be able to produce evidence or to be able to examine evidence, that's something that is well within the defendant's rights to be able to request for, right, Abby?
Yeah.
So it's not to say that it was the prosecution that delayed the said trial. It could be the mechanisms of the defense in preparing their said defense in delaying that trial. You have, you have scientific evidence as far as DNA analysis. You also have even tracking down witnesses. Witnesses, they have their own lives. They have their own schedules. Like, a lot of people don't understand, like, the mechanics behind how these things are pushed off in the way that they are.
Did an hour leave?
Yeah, I think you did.
I don't know. I mean, there are trials that can take a long time. Again, you have a lot of pre-trial motions that'll occur prior to the case in chief being tried.
And that's mainly due to examining evidence, right?
Well, it's evidence, it's testimony, it's whether certain witnesses can be included or not. I mean, there's all kinds of facets of it. Anyway, it's interesting. I just had that perspective because he ended up here, and I mean, I know a lot of people that had dinner with him and spent time with him and treated him like as if none of this was in the past. And then there were people that were totally wigged out and didn't want to be in the restaurant if he walked in. So he had that effect in his later years. It was just like no one was neutral on it, if that makes any sense. And so a number of restaurants banned him, and then I think he had a lawsuit. Maybe it was with the cousin of Holiday because they kicked him out. It was a few places.
I mean, even being a kid at the time and having polite elementary school conversation, like, it's one of those things where it was very polarizing, across generational lines, especially in Orange County, where Nicole had, a presence. Like, the high school that I graduated from was the sister high school that she graduated from. So it's kind of one of those things where, people knew the family and they knew the circumstances. OJ was a very noticeable figure, and everybody down to generational lines that could understand, and I don't mean the complexities as far as the legal implications as to what he was facing, but the overall circumstance. I feel like it was very polarizing.
Adams, let me tell you, I know exactly where I was when that verdict came in. I was practicing law in Philadelphia, and they had like a whole police bulletin everywhere in the city that if that verdict came in guilty, what we would expect. We expected Rodney King riots. We expected all kinds of problems. And that's, how many 3,000 miles on the other side of the country. It was incredibly polarizing, that case. I remember it.
Yeah, but what's interesting? I didn't realize how polarizing it was until the verdict was read, and I literally saw all white people gasping, like, what? And all black folks like cheering, like, whoa, I didn't know it was like that.
Completely that way around the country. Well, at least that was the anticipation, that there would be an issue from it. Anyway, you should go over to Nordstrom and see if they're still there.
I'll check next time.
What I will say, Abby, is, my dad and my uncle were in many athletic circles, during that time, living in Southern California. And, I don't know, it was kind of one of those things, like, my dad felt like OJ did it, my uncle felt like he didn't. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those things where, it was a childhood conversation. Anytime we used to go to the base, or anytime we used to, go to the beach and whatnot, and I was in the car with my uncle and my cousins and my dad, it was one of those coffee table conversations that I constantly heard during my childhood. And then as I went through high school and, as yes, I read books and, I just listened to different theories as to how this case unfolded. And I don't know, I'm gonna go with my uncle on this one. I feel like he did not do it.
So
was he-
Adams, did you read his book? If I did, I didn't read it.
Yes.
OJ, I didn't read
Yes.
his book.
Yes, and it was.
What is it? I never read it.
So basically, from what I understand, and it's, you have to understand, Abby, that book was heavily edited, right? So when the book actually made final edit review, the book had already been under the control of the Browns and the Goldmans.
No,
You see what I'm saying?
OJ's book?
Yes. Yes. They took control of that book before it actually went to press.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They did.
Okay. What are your thoughts about him being in the Ford Bronco with his passport and that whole spiel?
I mean, any person. Listen, one of my best friends in high school, his dad, when I showed up to pick him up, every day, the same way that I did every single day. His house was being raided by the feds. His dad disappeared and was in Thailand up until after we graduated from college. So, I mean, is it to say that he did something wrong? He's a free man today, living in Laguna Niguel, California. So is it to say that because he fled, that means that he did something wrong?
There's a presumption, there's a presumption often, and it's definitely used in a criminal proceeding. If there's fleeing from the scene, or if there's that kind of I don't know, but I'm curious how the country polled then and how the country would poll now on it.
I mean, Abby, I've given you two different theories. One for which actually rendered a confession. The Northridge construction worker that was working on the damage in Northridge at the time confessed to that murder in prison while he was in prison in Florida. Years
Was
later.
he out of his mind, or was he in his right mind when he?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know his level of cognition. I don't know his level of him being able to offer up those statements and for them to be legally valid based on his state of mind. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know that. But what I am saying is that the same relevance and importance into people examining those facts should be taken into consideration in the reasonable doubt factor in terms of, listen, even the evidence that we have, aside from these other anomalies, people on a reasonable basis felt like the man did not do it.
But there was this guy who confessed to the little Ramsey girl, and they put him on the plane, and they brought him to the courtroom. It turned out to be a whole hoax. The guy made it up.
Which is another weird case that also intersected into my childhood. So I went to Crystal Cathedral Academy while this, O.J. Simpson case was going on. And I guess the daughter of the Dr. Schuler, who was the pastor at the time, she actually purchased the Ramsey house in Boulder, Colorado. Very strange.
Wow. I would stay away from buying an infamous house.
So I think I pissed off Pepe enough for today.
Alright, well, I guess I'll just close.
Alright, Pepe.
You guys.
1987. Thank you, Dr. AJ. If you want to listen to the full length of the song, the playlist is up top. Anyway, I appreciate that. Awesome. Now that's, open 80s or 70s R&B. Next up, well, we're back to Elle. If she's not asleep, we're back to Elle.
Giving up on that. All right, we're gonna do direct from Minneapolis.
Oh, and by the way, wait. Sorry. Anybody can come up. Like, hand raising's totally open. You can come up and just get in the queue and we'll get to you. So yeah, awesome. And replays are on, so people can, listen to it later if they got it. All right, go ahead, Elle.
So, direct from Minneapolis.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
I bet you do.
It's not Bob Dylan.
It's
Go ahead.
not Dylan. It's Little Red Corvette by Prince. And here's a little trivia for you. Despite its title, Little Red Corvette was inspired by a pink Mercury Montclair Marauder owned by Prince's bandmate Lisa Coleman. Prince reportedly napped perhaps more in the car with Vanity, which may have sparked the song's creation. Also, Stevie Nicks wrote Stand Back after hearing Little Red Corvette. She even invited Prince to play keyboards on the track. How cool is that?
Thank you. I love that. All right.
Guess I should know. I don't wait, I'm just come sideways. Still the kind of person who believes in making out once. Come and leave it fast. Guess I must be done. Yeah, I get good horses. Trojan is on the news. What's Saturday night? I guess that makes it alright. You see, what have I got to lose? But I say, baby, you're much too fast. You need love that's gonna last. Guess I should. Swear your noses run free. I felt a little hit when I saw all the pictures of the jockeys that were there before me. But even on I started to worry, wondered if I had a place. On Saturday night, I guess that makes it alright. You say, baby, I got no gas. Oh yeah, big red Corvette. Baby, your mind's too fast. Big red Corvette. You need to find a love that's gonna last.
All right, cool. 1982, October 1982, Little Red Corvette, Prince. All right, now we're moving along the stage here. Thank you, Elle, for that. And Scott, we're back to you. 70s or 80s? Wait, what's the name of the song? Yep, yep. Hope I grabbed the right one. There's like a bunch of different versions. Let's hope this is the right one.
Check out
chick? Would you say? Would you carry a brother? I hope you speak, 'cause the man is mean, but don't come a little further. We all know the answer. You'll come out in time. I might even carry some of your load right along line. Thank you, man, for the mystery, 'cause I must be Hercules. I must be Hercules. Like a bird on the wing. I just wanna be free enough to do my thing. I can feel the pressure from every side. If you're not gonna help, don't hurt, just pass me by.
Aaron Neville, Hercules. That's a good one. Thank you, Sky. I like that. I haven't heard it before. That's great. Moving on to Rick. Rick, 70s, 80s. What do you got?
Right on the cusp. I know Corrida, the version from Quincy Jones, which is probably one of the most amazing arrangements. Every time I hear it, I hear something new. It's just fantastic. The guy that wrote it is like a British rocker. I just found out. And he wrote it as kind of a tribute to some Japanese erotica stuff. But I never knew that. I only knew the version from Quincy, and it's just ridiculous. It's just
This is from the dude. That
from the dude. Yeah.
Wow. I love it. All right, cool. Thank you. All right, cool. Let's see. Go. Thank you. 1981. Oh, shoot. Wait a second. Give me another minute. I'm having little tech issues. I hope this is the same one. Where is it? Oh, interesting. Okay. It's giving me some headaches, so give me 1 second here. now we're up to, oh shit, Andrew, awesome. And more people on stage. Oh my god, Erica, hi, RJ. Andrew, up to you. 70s or 80s?
Nice guy. How you doing?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good. Just making dinner here. So I'd like to, I'm going to go back to 1976. And I'm thinking Rubber Band Man by the Spinners. That'd be lovely. Thank you.
Remember this one. So many different versions, so hope this one is the right one. I'm just starting to tell a little bit. Here we go.
Gotta run, Scotty. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Al. Good luck on your NABCOR date.
It's gonna be a day. Like,
You too. All right, next. Where are we next up? Erica. Erica, so good to see you.
so good to be here. So good to be here.
I know you're OG Music Stoop playlist, making a playlist person, so it is an honor to have you here. Whatever you want, 70s or 80s R&B. I know you got a good pull here.
I'm gonna do 80s. I'm gonna do Confunction. Got to be enough.
I don't spell that wrong. All right, here we go. But sometimes when you're entering in these things, like actually spelled so perfectly, and confunction is like 3 words. So got to be enough confunction. very much, and also great to see you. All right, RJ, you are up, sir.
Hey, I have a question. So we need to choose from the list, right? We can't go outside.
Wait, from what list? There is no list. I mean, there's a playlist, but those are the ones that are already played.
Okay.
Yeah. So, whatever you want, 70s or 80s, R&B.
I'll take it first and tell a story that kind of look for it. This is early 80s song called Buttercup by Carl Anderson. And I'm playing it because I've been traveling for the past weeks. I've been on these long haul planes and had those lists I listen to when I have my iPhone. Yeah, and I heard it on that list, and it brought me back to like driving around with my mother, rushing to errands in the early 80s and listening to the 80s R&B. It's like I haven't heard this song in probably 35 years, but it's in my head, so I just wanted to put that out there. Buttercup by Carl Anderson.
Thank you, and here we go. That's my bad. Jeez. Carl Anderson, composer Stevie Wonder, lyricist Stevie Wonder on that one. And that's from 1986. That was a great pull. Yo, I had never heard that before. And what a voice. That's great. Thank you, RJ. I added it to the playlist pinned up top. Next up, James. Oh, James, are you there? Yes. James, if you are there, you can tell me your choice, or you can write it in the chat. in the chat, James, because I don't think we hear you. But next up would be Brian, or we can come back to you, James. But Brian, it looks like you're on a phone call, which then means we're going to lose. James, I saw you muted, but were you able to speak, or you can put your pick in the chat? It's up to you either way. Otherwise, we will go to Moose. Moose.
What's good, Scotty? Happy Sunday.
What's good? Happy Sunday.
I was so happy when I found your room. Much needed today, but I'll say Give Me the Night by George Benson if you haven't already.
Yes. Oh.
I think James is.
Oh wait, James is speaking. Okay, I can't hear very low, but go ahead.
What I would like to hear is the slink, the slide, and the wicked showing up.
Can you write it in the chat, because I'm barely hearing you.
He's a flip, the fly, and the wicked by showing up. Showing up, yeah, by showing up.
Got it. Okay, I hope this is the right one, y'all. Here we go. I like this.
So you think you love him? Girl, you know you love him. So you think you love him? Play it back. Oh, you got to let me I'm trying so hard to convey my love, but you're only I know we can make it. I really know we can make it, girl. But you only gonna be able to show up now. 10,000 times. Yes, I really tried. And all I can say is, you really love him. Show up, you really love him. Love him. Show up, love him. Show up, show up. Show up, you really love him. Show up, you really love him. Love him. It's like, yeah, baby. I don't know. Man, I'm feeling bad. Show me nothing to bring me to. Hey, man, maybe that was his real. Or maybe she had love jokes for the cat. I don't know. But you know, Slick had the same problem. It just like did. It happened to me. Me involved. Life is funny. Yeah, love is funny. You can play stupid games. Oh, yeah. Still, I watch out for the tricky game. But nevertheless, I'm still a man. I know I am. 10,000 times I've tried. Lord knows I really tried. All I can say is, you really love him. You really love him. Show up, you really love him. Love him. Show up, love him. Show up, show up. Show up, you really love him. Show up, you really love him.
Alright, fantastic. I love that so much. I felt like it was, oh man, that was great. Thank you for that. I added it to the playlist pinned above. Again, if people don't have, if you don't have title, maybe you should get title, because the sound quality is great, and they pay their artists more for what it's worth. I know it's not much, but it's definitely much better than Spotify and Apple Music and definitely YouTube. But nonetheless, if you can't get the playlist, just back channel me, and I can make a Spotify or Apple Music version, and I'll send it over. But also replays are on here, so that's it. So let's go. Hey Sid, what's up? And we'll get to Brian in a second. Brian, I don't know if you're still on the phone call.
No, I'm back.
Oh, you're back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sid, we're gonna go to you in a second, but I'm gonna go to Brian since he's been out. So Brian, pick a song from the 70s or 80s, R&B.
Oh, 70s or
Oh wait, did I skip over Moose?
yeah, if we
No, Brian.
I thought you were just talking to Moose.
No, I was. Yeah, I was. But then
Get Bruce to go back to.
I did.
Oh, yeah. Because the other person came in.
That's right. Okay. My bad. Moose, I got yours. So we'll do that, okay? And this is my roller skating jam, by the way. Wait, sorry. Oh god, you have to spell these things correctly. This is crazy. Okay, here we go. This will forever be a jam.
Oh yeah. Bring on the roller rink.
And the song's got another 2 minutes. You can listen to it over and over plays. Woo! This one was such a hot jam at the time and still holds up ridiculously. And I just want to make sure that, everybody knows Herbie Hancock on piano on that one. Jones, Patty Austin, Jocelyn Brown, Jim Gilster, a bunch of others. Of course, Quincy Jones produced, composer, the great Temperton, which is ridiculous because he did so many songs. It's hard to even mention his list. He's one of the greatest songwriters of that era, between Michael Jackson, Heat Wave, and a bunch of other shit. That was so legendary. Thank you guys so much. We are going, alright, we're going to Brian, then we're going to Sin. So Brian, you were up.
What was that? George, this was at 81st.
George Benson. So that one was like, I think it was 81, but it doesn't matter, Brian, because it's open.
Oh, okay.
It's open, so you can do what you want. But that was August 1980.
Boy, I broke my head.
And you, if you were old enough, you were roller skating to that.
Oh, yeah.
That I know.
And a polyester suit and an afro. Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't include one of my personal favorites that we, my spaces that I used to hold here on Clubhouse.
I'm excited.
We used to honor Barry, the late great Barry White. So there's your primer. My personal.
Unlimited Love Orchestra or Barry White solo?
Oh, we're gonna go with Barry, and it's his cut. It's Ecstasy when you lay down next to me. And while I'll just do a little filler time space while you're finding it. But
no, I got it. It's on.
Oh, you damn man. Okay, no filler.
No, I don't fuck around here. I'm literally too long on this side.
Ain't no rookies here, all but yeah, man. But I know if you found the shorter radio version, because the original is like
I have the single. Yeah, I have the single.
Yeah.
But I'll put if I find the extended album version, I'll put it on that one.
That one's worth the time people listen to start to finish.
We'll do that. Yeah, reading it, it's pretty short in the scheme of things, but here we go. Barry White. Like the 3.5 minute version, and there's the almost 7 minute version. version, which I put on the playlist. Brian, thank you, my friend. That's great.
Yes, sir.
And you know, and the thing is about, man, about Barry White is that he's such a brilliant composer, too. Like, and his voice